Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lyds and we're back for some more Thronebreaker, and although our deck nowadays is quite strong with all the Skellige dudes, I have continued to find ways to do some silly stuff to make things a little more interesting. Last time is, well, definitely one of those occasions. So, we will proceed here, but, you know, we shall see if we are still, gonna find ourselves getting into a little more trouble than expected. We did pick up, I think, was it our last upgrade for yes, or at least the last upgrade we really anticipate that we're going to end up doing. Otherwise, we're looking at stuff that really doesn't make much of any impact whatsoever. Should still have enough stuff that if we really need to, we could craft some units. Although at this point, as I think we were saying before, I mean, what are we going to craft that is better than our Skellige guys? Probably not much, not unless we have an enemy that directly counters the Skellige cards. Then, you know, we'll figure it out on that occasion. But as for where we're headed, we have also, I think, tracked down, yes, notice board over there and learned of several updates. Point of interest seemingly in every entryway to this town. I wonder if those going to be just the same thing, and you go to one of the entrances and it's going to be the same outcome no matter what. And then doing one basically removes all the others, or are they truly three distinct things at all those entrances? And does it matter which one we go to first? I don't know. This castle obviously looks pretty big. There is also, similarly, seemingly a battle on either side of this fortress. Are there's really two distinct battles? Or is it kind of like, as theorizing might be the case there? I don't know. I don't know. Interesting. Not sure which one we ought to go for first here. I don't think we have much insight on the matter. But I imagine, yeah, all those places have Nilfgaardian flags. We do also have several chests, hidden chests, ones that we have treasure maps for at least, that we've been kind of looking for. I thought one of them was near a windmill. Maybe it's worth just quickly checking here, seeing if it's this or this. I think we have two that we've yet to find thus far. No, not there. We tried this one. Maybe not. I mean, maybe I'm making that up. Otherwise, yeah, I really don't know. I guess we could try that battle? Sure. Is it going to be a two-part battle? We do the first battle by that entrance, and then we immediately go into the second? I have no idea. I have no idea. See if there's anything around here first. I mean, I guess it could make the case. If we aren't about to craft any units, or at least we hope not to, then perhaps we are at the point where resources really don't matter much at all. We could boost up our morale here, but we're on neutral. We'll be fine, right? We'll be fine. Okay, so not surprisingly, more Nilfgaardian flags. I mean, yeah, basically my point is, there's a battle here. There was a battle icon on the other side of there as well, at least on the mini-map, but it's clearly leading to the same place, so is there any difference at all between these two spots? I have no idea. No idea. I'm really not sure if we've seen that until perhaps just now. Okay, it's a standard battle. Wake-up call. Crouching in the dark, the Lyrians observed the Nilfgaardian garrison in silence. They watched as fires were extinguished and echoes grew quiet. Finally, once the barracks were quiet with sleep, only lone sentries remained atop the walls. Then, the Queen gave the order to strike. It was time to give the rouse the invaders from their give the rouse the invaders from what? That phrasing is really weird. It was time to give the rouse the invaders from their... You know, that's not a complete sentence. Okay. So, rare occurrence in Thronebreaker to see something like that, but let's start. I was like, maybe it's just odd phrasing? But no, I think it's just objectively, grammatically incorrect. But alas. Let us proceed. So, theoretically, it's 3 rounds here. We have Doggener starting hand. Let's see if there's anything out of the ordinary here. Or this is basically the same setup we've seen for many encounters now. Pretty much all of them in Rivia thus far against the Nilfgaardians. So, we'll see. That might mean we have a pretty good sense as to what we're going to go up against here. Probably means we don't really want Alchemists in this round. We're going to be focusing primarily on the Skellige dudes. As we sort of experimented with last time, trying to get Skellige guys out is great. However, it does mean that we can get a pretty crowded board if we bring them all back in a full-length round 3. So we could potentially play a little bit in round 2 to make round 3 a little shorter, and that way we don't have to be as concerned about running out of board space and potentially just having to discard a few cards, which I think we did a couple of occasions ago. Last time, we accidentally took it a step too far. So maybe we can get the right middle ground this time round, but we'll see. I think Barnabas, certainly not a bad card, but maybe not something we want to be focusing on as early as round 1. Okay, that's better. We should save our other redraws. And they're going first. Seen these guys plenty of times before. Use leader ability. Also, I feel like I only just realized this, but I'm pretty sure that's the cooldown icon, much like our cooldown icon is over there. Whereas in the past, I'd always clicked on their leader ability and gone here to see. But that maybe is not necessary. But what would we like to start off with? We'd probably like to get one of the Skellige guys out here that we can create the extra copies of with the Divana Runestone, although obviously early Patricide is also pretty good as well. So, let's do, I think usually we want it to be the Disgraced Warriors. Let's do that. And we should also be able to go leader ability here and get rid of one of these guys and get some more Skellige dudes going as well. Let's see, so you and you, I guess, should work.
Waiting for a personal invitation.
Okay, looks good. Damage hitting by 2, but was destroyed, spawn fire on its rogues. This we don't see as often. These guys we see all the time. But if they're all in on the damage, then that works kind of fine for us. Let's now do the Divana Runestone. Make these guys much stronger, make it harder for them to destroy them. Maybe we wanted to let them destroy on that turn, or at least try to. Give us some free power, some free upgrades. They are very keen on destroying this guy. What's your deal? Boost machine by 4, give it oh, I don't like the resilience. That's kind of gross. Yeah, let's get Patricide out here. As I was saying, that's definitely a card we'd like to get down early.
Got my scar?
And you have a lot of armor. It's going to be pretty hard to take you out. Or we could always Artifact Impression you, which is sort of a workaround for that. Otherwise, next turn, we still have some additional Skellige dudes. Okay, don't necessarily want to use these order abilities right now, because it's just not going to be anywhere near enough to destroy you. So maybe we'll wait until we get Patricide going. They will pass, though. We have a pretty huge lead here. We'll get the carryover, of course, but... Okay. This looks fine. We'll win round 1. Okay, and I don't love the cards we drew into there. The Bomber, probably one of, if not the weakest cards that we have left in our deck now. And Barnabas can be situationally good, but we want to focus on playing as many Skellige guys as we can. We do still want to play a few cards in this round, because I think we drew up to the full, 10 cards here in round 2. So if we don't play anything in round 2, we're going to have to discard 3 cards. And that would mean we risk losing Reynard in particular as a card we'd very much like to keep. If we lose the Brawler, I guess it's not the end of the world, because we can still bring it back with Dogger later. But I think, maybe we save our redraws for now, and we can play 1, 2, and we could just use you as a throwaway as 3, or if we get a leader ability charge back, we could play Dogger, and then remember to put him back into our deck, because that's what we messed up with in the previous match. And that forced us to have to go for the 2-0 win rather than playing for round 3, because we weren't going to be able to get Dogger back. So we weren't going to be able to get all the carryover that we were kind of relying on. So if we are more mindful of the timing, then that is still a possibility. Oh, we could also Artifact Impression on either this guy or, whatever else they put Resilience on, or whatever else their best card on the board might be. So let's go get the Skellige dudes going early. And so you could play Dogger turn 1, but then you're kind of playing with fire a little bit. Because then you absolutely need to play long enough to get him back into your deck with the leader ability, and I'm probably just going to play him on the same turn we get leader ability back. Play it extra safe.
My disgrace ends here. Time I wiped it away.
And perhaps that means we may be able to do what I had hoped to do in the previous match. That being, on this turn, use Dogger, get all the Skeleton guys out from our graveyard, and put Dogger back into our deck so we can still draw into him in round 3, but we get all that tempo from playing all these guys and force our opponents to go multiple cards down to catch us. That was the theory. In practice, I may have slipped up a little bit on the execution. But now we can do this as long as we target Dogger with leader ability and don't bring him back out. Leave him in the deck.
Kill me! Is today the day?
Death is only the beginning.
Waiting for a personal invitation.
Okay, so we should be able to sacrifice you and on net still benefit from doing that. In fact, we technically should have done that first. Not a huge deal, I guess. Should still be fine. Grand scheme of things, but a little bit of extra power there. We'll do this just to give ourselves a little more carryover value of sorts on Isbel. Now we use leader ability on Dogger. Do not replay him. Keep him in the deck. I know the order of operations was maybe slightly off and we could get a 15-point Disgraced Warrior. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Put him back in the deck. Get anyone other than Dogger out here. In fact, use this Disgraced Brawler, and might not be a bad time to just get a junk card out like the Footman that we don't really want to be drawing into. And otherwise, if we think it's going to take them several turns to catch us, we could even go Infiltrator. Wasn't really being all that mindful of where I placed the cards, and if I was more mindful, might have been able to pull off an Alchemist here. I think we honestly just go Footman. So Dogger is now safely hiding in the deck, so we can either draw into him or get him out with leader ability in round 3.
Off to the front.
But what we've done here is we've passed them by over 100 points, and so then we're going to pass on our next turn and basically dare them to try to catch us. And if it takes them a long time to do that, then we're going to have huge card advantage in round 3. It might play something with Resilience here, which might be the one thing that could cause us to hesitate a bit. But we could always Artifact Impression that. Or they will take approximately 1 year to decide what they want to do. Boosts chasing units by 2. If this unit has armor, it definitely does. But I think we can live with this. They still have to make up about 100 points extremely quickly. Just double check. Dogger is safely in here, as is Raynor. That sounds good to me. I mean, technically we could play more and just leave Dogger in the deck. And that way we have a shorter round 3. So in total, we're playing fewer cards in round 3. Meaning there's less chance of us bricking stuff in round 3 because we don't have the board space to play it all. So there is still, I suppose, something to be said for doing that. So, I mean, could, for example, sacrifice more of these guys and get more carryover or more power on the board directly on this turn. Barnabas, with a decent number of units on our side, there is some potential there, and some units on their side as well. At least one of them is damaged. Of course, we don't know exactly what Barnabas will give us. Could go Bomber as well. Just throw that down there, and depending on how long it takes them to catch us, that might start to be a bit of a factor, especially if we're trying to make round 3 a little bit shorter. Yeah, you know what? We will go a little bit further here. We will go a little bit further, I think. We'll do this, because they have a fair number of cards over there. We will... Sure. We should do this. Let's try to get rid of your armor if we can. Was it you boost adjacent units by 2? Okay. So I know hitting you is the most direct points because other cards have armor, but I am kind of wondering if we might be able to play Barnabas to remove you on our next turn. So for that reason, I might still go after this guy. And we have armor on most of those dudes as well, so it's not a huge deal. We could also, there's definitely still a net positive with all the Skelga guys we have on the board right now. Sacrificing one of these dudes. This, you hit back for 1 damage? Sure. Sure. Maybe that now becomes the Barnabas target. Now we can basically do that with all of you. I mean, this is definitely net negative at this point, because we're not actually destroying those guys. It would have been positive if we had actually destroyed them. But now, that's carryover for Isbel in a short round to just annihilate everything. So, and maybe we leave those guys. We'll go a little bit further in this round, so we're kind of blurring the line a little bit about how exactly we're trying to approach this. You know, again, we could have just passed on that turn, not played anything at all, and forced them to take a bunch of turns to catch us. But instead, we're going a little bit longer, so that we have a shorter round 3, and therefore... I mean, technically, it is a good card for you to go after, because it's the one card that will not give everyone else additional power. But that does have resilience, this guy. Usually those do not have resilience, do they? But I think for that reason, we Artifact Impression on you. I mean, technically, I guess we should have Patricited first, but get rid of your armor, which we technically could have done. Okay. Fine. Yes, technically, if I had Patricited and then used Artifact Compression, it would have gotten rid of your armor. So be it. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I guess you could even make... Well, there you go. Now it won't have armor. Could even have made the case for going with an early Mahakamail if we thought this was going to be a longer round than round 3. I'm thinking we maybe Barnabas, and then we might be good from there on out. There, they do destroy Skellige guys, which does make us stronger. We have given them several tempting targets. They're not going for the little guys, unfortunately. But now if we say, oh, you're... Yeah, also someone who gives extra power if you have armor. So I guess we'll still try to go after you with Patricide, although that's obviously not going to be enough in and of itself, and I'm not really sure how many more times we are going to hit you, because this might be our last turn now. We go Barnabas here and just see what we get. We could also drop a Jade figurine, but let's see what we do here. Let's see what we can get.
Feel any burning? See a local healer or wise woman?
Ooh. So that decoy with Dogger would also be amazing. That's actually what we were trying to do in the previous one to salvage the misplay that we had. Otherwise... don't really want to move them out of the fire row. If anything, I would want to move them in. Our 2 units set their power to 1. I'd rather not do that either. To be honest with you, I think it is going to be decoy. It might even be decoy on Barnabas. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, you could get like a Disgraced Warrior back into your hand, and doing so you heal it up, and when you replay it, it gets slightly 1 more base power. That's also something, but you get the deploy ability again to create another trinket if you go with Barnabas. So, you know, it's a little more of an unknown if we go for Barnabas, but it's more exciting that way, I suppose. And as long as they aren't close to catching us, then this is still fine for us to keep on playing here in this round. So we have played... Actually, after doing the Artifact Compression, we have more cards in our hand than they do, so technically, even if we are not all that successful in our quote-unquote bleed attempt, which is what you would usually call this, pushing aggressively in round 2 after winning round 1, even if we are not so successful with it because we have 1 more card than them, that's still fine. Because usually the risk would be that we have fewer cards in round 3, and then they have an advantage in round 3 if we are not outpacing them here. But we are outpacing them, and we do have more cards. We are winning by every measurable account here. And we can replay Barnabas. We could play the Jade figure. I mean, they have a lot of damage, so maybe playing the Jade figurine is not a great option here. Let's go... We'll go Barnabas, and now maybe this time it'll be the last card that we play.
Not supposed to be any smoke.
Let's see. Highest unit on the battlefield is what? Probably this. It is that Disgraced Warrior, or that one. So we don't really want to do that. A random bronze unit from each deck. Could be an Infiltrator for us. You guys aren't actually in there. Could be an Alchemist. I mean, that's not bad. In fact, Alchemist could set up Barnabas to become pretty big. So that might be worth considering. Otherwise... You know what? That works too. He is getting 1 point stronger every time. And it is allowing us to just bide our time a little bit here. It is a way to continue to bleed them out as much as possible. It's also just kind of hilarious. So I'm all for it. at this point, yeah, we've taken a lot of damage, so his spell is getting stronger by the second.
A bit of bloodletting.
Heal ally boosted by the amount healed. Okay, that's not a huge factor. I'd like for you to actually destroy a Skellige guy, though. Preferably one that will actually boost up the remaining Skellige dudes. Okay, so now they're actually kind of close to catching us. So we might play Barnabas and actually look to get direct, immediate value from him. And again, this round has gone a lot longer than anticipated, especially with the whole replaying Barnabas continually thing. So if we knew that that was going to happen, using Mahakamail at the beginning of the round might not have been a bad idea, but wasn't really sure just how long we were going to be playing in round 2. And, well, alas, it was a bit of a surprise. But let's go here, and let's see what we can get this time.
What? Oh, yes, I'm on it.
Okay, not gonna lie, I saw this for a second, I was like, I remember seeing that before. Are we about to replay Barnabas once again? Damaged unit. Do you have any damaged units that we would actually be okay with transforming? No, I mean, yes, it's worth more points to transform you in the immediate term, which, as we were saying, is kind of what we're looking for, but at the same time, it does limit our potential to bring them back in round 3, so I don't love that. This is not a huge deal. Might be Mandrake. We were considering it before, until we saw the ability to replay Barnabas once again. Now we probably do it, though. Okay, so it is the Infiltrator, and that means it's a little risky putting you there, because there is fire in that row. You're slightly smaller, but much safer. Also, the fire might weaken you further, so I think we put the Infiltrator there. And we steal you, damage enemy by 2 whenever an ally appears, gain 1 charge. Okay. Sure. Sure. So now we could use these guys and potentially even remove something with them if we really wanted to. Or we could sacrifice. We should. However, let's see. We have gotten rid of your armor now. That's fine. In which case, yeah, maybe we just go for pure damage on this occasion. Like that. Yeah, okay. I think that's fine. And we will very likely pass on our next turn. Especially if they can't catch us here. But through doing the Barnabas replaying shenanigans, we've now gained even more card advantage. It's the primary thing that we achieved there. Now, would we have been better off if we had just passed earlier when we had a huge lead? Possibly? I don't know. This looks big. That's Hefty Helga in multiplayer Gwent. No, we've seen this before in Thronebreaker, though. Damage all enemies by 1, cooldown 2, Death Wish. Damage all units on this row by 4. So if we could destroy that, that'd be great. But I think they haven't caught us yet, so we pass here. That forces them to go an additional card down. We have huge card advantage. Yes, we have our leader really back. So we could sacrifice this guy and this guy and then get them back with Dogger, but then we'd have to wait a whole bunch of turns to get Dogger back to our deck for round 3 anyway. Or we just have to go for the 2-0, which is what we did last time by accident. So in the interest of keeping things a little bit different here, we'll pass now. Force them to play again in all likelihood. Oh, also, especially when that comes back, it might even take them a couple of turns. Except this is going to be pretty effective, I would think, damaging all of our units. Unless they might accidentally destroy this Disgraced Warrior, which would, I think, still be a net definitely be a net positive for us. That's Patricide, though, not Disgraced Warrior, unfortunately. Okay, there's us powering up, though, from losing one of the Skellige guys that we actually wanted to lose. So they will still need to play more here. Oh, no. They might not catch us. They actually might. I mean, you would have to think they'd find a way to do it. If they accidentally destroy this, we might actually still win this round unexpectedly. Okay, they do get some carryover, and they will win the round. But we have, we'll be at 8 cards. They'll be at 3, so we have 5 card advantage. Well, they have one card on the board. Don't think that's going to be a huge deal, though. I think we'll be okay here. I think we'll probably be okay. Drawn to Reynard, our 1 card in our deck is Dogger, I believe. Yeah, these guys are all fakes. So we should probably redraw one of these cards to get Dogger. And we have made this round a little bit shorter. We have only 8 cards rather than having 10, so we should be at less risk of running out of board space. That's another reason why we had gone at least a little bit further in round 2. So why don't we drop the Jade Figurine, I suppose, and maybe we'll get that out when we use our leader, which will probably be on turn 1 anyway. So you boost allied machine by 4, give it resilience. That's not really a factor anymore. You do not have a lot of time to do much of anything here. But we don't need much time to do this.
Ludicrous. Give me some of that.
So basically the idea was, by making this round shorter, we have less of a risk of running out of board space, but also they have less time to catch up to our 150 plus points we're going to get on one turn. So if you give them a full round to try to deal damage to us, then they might be able to stop us here. But if they have 3 cards to score over 200 points, that's going to be kind of hard to do. That's going to be kind of hard to do. I think we might even delay using leader ability here. And then that allows us on our next turn to deliberately sacrifice, ideally all of the Disgraced Warriors. Then leader ability, replay Dogger, and get... Actually, use all the order abilities on the Disgraced Warriors, then play Reynard, get the order abilities back. That way, hopefully we can actually destroy at least some of them. Then you use leader ability, replay Dogger, and play Jade Figurine, and call it a day. I mean, we probably don't have to play anything else. We've probably already won this. We've probably already won this, in all likelihood. But I guess we'll... I mean, if we're actually trying to sacrifice guys, you're not going to die. But we're kind of deliberately trying to weaken you. Even if you don't quite get the kills. Even if you're not about to be killed, by playing Reynard, we should be able to destroy you. Oh, you're also small. Okay. Okay. So I think that's the way to go about doing it, and technically we should do, I guess, that. And now, you guys, I think, are going to be too big pretty much no matter what. I didn't do the math, but I'm just assuming that is the case. So now it's Reynard. This is the idea. Get these order abilities back. Now you can actually sacrifice these dudes. It'll make everyone else stronger. You might be too... Oh, no. You'll still go down here. That's fine. Now we go leader ability to replay Dogger. Get those guys back out. So there's no downsides having lost them. Plus when we play Dogger, it will reappear. Okay. There we go. And, you know, play a Mahakame beginning of the round, sure. Is it going to matter here? Probably not. Probably not going to matter at all. I would go as far as to say that we have won by almost 300 points with 5 cards to spare, which might make this our most convincing win yet. You know, we drop down an Isbel, destroy every unit that they have, and then it definitely would... Okay, fair enough. You know, fair enough.
It's not too late to walk away.
Could have put her next to one of the really big guys and then done an Alchemist on our next turn, but... So obviously this is completely unnecessary, but now we'll do... this might be
if anyone
here.
asks,
That was kind of the logic.
You've not seen me.
I'm putting you there. We've done that for Isabel instead, though. So then you do this. And, you know, we could keep going. We could. But I think now we're pretty good. Now we should be pretty good. Alright. So, I think that's, as I was saying, about as convincing a win as it gets. Let's see what we have loot-wise, and occasionally, especially in relatively large fortresses like this, we'll sometimes see letters pop up as well that can give us some additional insights. So will there be anything like that? Or is it just simple, straightforward resources? That may be the case. We also had questions about, at least before coming... Excuse me. There we go. Before getting in here, there was an icon for this side of the fortress for a battle and that side of the fortress for a battle. And we theorized that that meant, yeah, that basically, no matter which side you approach from, you're going to get the same encounter. And once you finish it from one side, it's not as if you repeat it on the other side as well. So that may be the case for this town as well then, because, you know, 3 entrances to the same town all have the same icon on them. I assume that means they're all referring to the same thing. And then this looked a lot like one of the treasure map spots we were theorizing. Let's check. This, kind of, sort of. Was it that one? It wasn't a windmill, it was a watchtower. This was the one that I was thinking we might have been close to finding before. Is it over here? I mean, that looks like the boulder we were just looking at. Oh, that. Right there. Right there. I saw the icon for a moment. I saw it there. Alright, we're gonna have to... I don't really want to go into that encounter right now. Can we avoid the encounter and just go straight to the chest? Because I don't want to miss the spot with the chest. I want to make sure we get this. This must be it, right? There we go, okay. What will we get here? It will be... Ooh, I like the look of that a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to use it. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it. Pretty sure I've never seen that one before, but it is very nice. It is very nice. Okay. Well, with that being said, we have this town, which is absolutely manned by Nilfgaardians, that we suspect all these 3 icons are referring to the same thing there, and a few other points of interest there in other areas as well. Like, that's probably a pretty big one by that fortress, right? But once we're done with this stuff, we are really in the final stretch, it would seem, but that being said, I do think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up here, and after what was, as we were saying, possibly our best win yet, and maybe, you know, that's more the type of performance we should have when we don't make atrocious mistakes at some point in time, because as it turns out, the Skellige guys are ridiculously strong. We've known this for a while, but you know, we've just had a few missteps every now and again that keep things a little interesting. This time, though, much more comfortable, much more straightforward. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.